5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. There we go. Okay, let's dig in. We got some fun stuff as always. DieHard Battery returns to TV after 10-year hiatus. Okay, Bruce Willis is featured in an Advanced Auto Parts DieHard battery commercial. Advanced Auto Parts bought DieHard brand from Sears a year ago and became the exclusive retailer. Didn't know that stuff. And it's breathing new life into the brand. And I did see this commercial. Usually I get them to you before they air, so I'm going to show you the 30-second version, which hasn't come out yet. But I did not get what was going on because it's very long and sort of convoluted, and I'm not too sure the 30-second one makes any sense either. But I'll give it to you, and you can decide. And here we go. You see the Advanced Auto Parts, but not very well. Let's go. There's Theo.
Theo?
There's the bad guys. Good morning.
Welcome to Advanced Auto Parts.
I need one of those.
Good morning on
Is
LinkedIn.
there another way out?
He's got to crawl through the air vent, which is some movie I didn't know. Okay, I really like this graph because, I've been hearing, is it a V recovery? Is it a U recovery? And I thought this was a pretty good V. Now, this is ad spending. So this is not the retail sales graph. But I didn't see a retail sales graph, but I'll show you the retail sales numbers. Very, very optimistic. Clearly looks like a V to me, not a U. And what's interesting to me is this is year over year. Okay, so we had a bad couple months here, really bad. Are we through it? Well, I made it. Did you make it? Yeah, okay, we're all still here. Most of us anyway. And now we're actually over last year's ad spend for these months. So that's very optimistic. Here's retail sales, 2% in September. Retail sales, and it's 5.4%. That's over August. But 5.4% year over year. Retail sales. Can you believe it? And if you look at department store sales, that's up 10%. Okay? And if you look at gas stations, automobile dealers, and restaurants, that's up 12% year over year. In other words, year over year. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. And it's 10% National Retail Federation. So here's the explanation. Total retails take. September numbers easily surpass what even the most optimistic economists had been expecting. Okay? Why the good news? Retail sales have been boosted by an improving labor market. It kind of always comes back to that. If there are jobs, people feel better, right? It's not about government spending, even though government had played a part in getting us through there. It's about having a job. It says that the labor market rebounds consumer confidence. More are going back to work, and it makes them confident and spending. And there's less travel spending and some other things, so they have some money to spend at the store. And speaking of store, Amazon Prime Day crosses 10 billion. That's one day? No, that's a 48-hour event. But it beat last year by 45.2%. Year over year. 45.2%. Good Lord. That's a lot. It sounds like a lot to me. Okay? And it's up 7 billion during that event in July in 2019. My goodness. Sales of marketplace sellers products grew nearly 60%. So the brands and the other merchants getting involved with Amazon, are you actually here or is this a pre-recording? Hey, somebody's on Twitch. I just got a comment from Twitch. I've never had a comment from Twitch. Not that I knew of. I'm not real. I'm a bot. I'm a 3D hologram. I didn't do that article, but there's a 3D hologram coming, and I could look like, I don't know who, Sean Connery or something, really, really good. I don't have to worry about getting old. I can be a 3D hologram forever. If I just take off this coat, I'm like, all I need is a head. It's like VeggieTales. I don't even need arms and legs. Okay, so I'm not a big fan of Amazon, I have to say, but man, they're killing it. And so let's get over to the final piece of today. We're going to have a short one today. I have some long articles that I'm not going to touch on. Thanks for the thumbs up. The definitive list of pricing models you can use. This is from Trung over on The Hustle, which I always like. Lucid Motors last week announced that they've raised $1 billion. They're making an electric car, and they're going to price their car at $69.9 thousand. So Elon Musk decided to price his model at $69,420. I don't know why exactly. But anyway, so The Hustle decided to give us give us a definitive guide to pricing. The first is competition-based. Set your price on existing market rates, what your competitors charge. Now, that's more complicated than it makes it sound on a one-sentence coverage. When I was working at the ad agency, Cub Foods came into the Chicago market, and every other place that Cub Foods went, here's what they did. They'd come into the market, and then they would knock down their price 6%. Okay? Now, when you change the price of milk and eggs 2%, the market perceives it. Think about the gas pumps, probably similar thing. You know what the prices are around town, right? And so the sales go up when you lower your price below competition, and 6% is just unheard of because the average grocery store chain makes 1 or 2% net profit on sales. So 6% is out of business for most grocery store chains. Okay, so Cub comes in with big new stores, builds a couple of big new stores, and 6%. Not only that, worse than that, the competitors try their best to lower their prices. And so they lower them 4% because that's all they can stand. They know they're going to go out of business. Okay, so they come down to almost match Cub, but there's still a 2% difference. What did I just tell you about pricing? 2% is enough to win. So Cub comes in and there's a 2%, but it's still enough. And they take the flyers because all the competitors put their special discount super on sale milk and eggs. And Cub puts those flyers up at the entrance of the Cub Foods. This is what they were doing. And they take big red X's and write the Cub food price on top of it. And show you that Cub was beating even the best price you'd seen in maybe years for milk and eggs. They were beating all the competitors. Okay, well, at the time, our big client was Dominic's Finer Foods. And I've talked about this before, but Dominic ran the place. I mean, he still did, right? And Dominic's, wow, those Twitch comments are quite racy. So, unless you're on Twitch, you don't see them, but I get to see them. Thanks for you guys on Twitch. This is fun. I didn't know anybody watched me over there, and most of you don't even know what Twitch is, so that makes me cool, I think, right? Does that make me cool? How many old guys are on Twitch? None. Anyway, so Dominic's was a family-owned grocery store chain. And so we decided to take a completely different tack, and our ads stopped featuring price. We had a picture of a beautiful strawberry. We had a picture of a piece of broccoli, beautifully, artistically drawn, hand drawn by a real artist. Yeah, Skinny Santa Claus, right. Lost a lot of weight. Anyway, so hand drawn, beautiful, full page in the newspaper, big, and I've got those on file now. One of the art guys actually sent me that, which is so cool. And how could that possibly work? Well, a couple of things. Dominic's had a lot more stores than Cub when they came in. And a lot of the stores that Dominic's had were not close to a Cub. They were a long drive away. And so we figured and told them, keep your prices the same. Don't mess around with it. And if they're close or if they're like middle distance, okay, if they're middle distance, then what I want you to do is tier price. The novelties, the A1 sauce and the Tetley tea, or not your staples. Keep those where they are. Take down some of the stuff, the middle stuff, but on the peanut butter and eggs and milk, match Cub right to the numbers, so that when people come in there, they know there's nothing to lose. And especially if you're right next door to a Cub's, you match the Cub price right on the button. So this is competition based, okay? But where the drive time was long, Dominic's kept making the same margin. You see the key here? It's competition based, but it's not like just set a price. That's the way, that's the way governments do it. That's not the way somebody who's smart does it. That's not the way somebody who's running your corner grocery does it. Who's actually there and thinking about stuff, okay? So guess what? Chicago was the only market where Cub didn't come in. Because what was interesting is when Cub they would drive the prices all down, and then they would gradually raise theirs. The competitors would have to raise them because they were going out of business, and then Cub would come up. And then the competitors would go up, and the Cub would go up, till the competitors were back at where they could only stand to be. And Cub was 2% down. And gradually, they would put them out of business, right? So pricing is an art. And sometimes pricing is based on, high-low, yeah, there's all these loss leaders or something. But sometimes price. There was a fine pen company, there was a department store selling these very well-made writing pens. And they tried to sell them at $20 or something because they thought, well, this is competitive with other pens we're selling at $20. And they didn't sell because nobody had heard of that brand of pen. And so somebody thought, well, they're not selling. Now, obviously, the small-minded marketer will say, let's just cut the price. Let's sell them for $5. Sell them at our cost. And the owner came in and he said, no, that's not how you do it. Let's sell them at $200. Let's see what happens. $200. 10 times more than they were charging. And guess what? They sold them all. Sometimes price is a signal of quality, of exclusivity. And especially when you're giving a gift. This isn't the way I think. The way I think of is if I can get a pen for $20, it's a $200 pen because it's on eBay or something, then good for me. I'll tell my relatives it was a $200 pen I got a deal on. But literally, some of my relatives have different culture, I have to say. I'm not saying it's wrong, but some of my relatives, if it's too good of a sale, if it's too good a price, they feel bad. They feel bad in their own heart about giving a discounted item. They want to give something that costs them something. Right. Yeah, it's Italians. I don't know that all Italians are like this, but it was a very different thing when I got married and when I married into the Italian culture. It was very different how they thought of gift giving, and it was very important to them. It was not as important in our family. We were like, here's something that'll keep you busy. That's kind of the way I feel about it. That's kind of I feel like my dad grew up in the Depression, and he was like, "You're lucky to have a bicycle." I remember my first 3-speed bike we got at a garage sale, and Dad gave it to me and kind of polished it up. I was riding my bike to school through the winter, and we kind of polished it up together, and it was a 3-speed, and it was full-size big bike. It was my first high level bike. And for my sister, when I outgrew my little bike, he took it apart, took all the stuff off it, and painted it pink for her. That's kind of what we did. We even made toys together. My dad and I made a sailboat one time. I remember that. So my culture, he made me a sword once for Halloween, and it was it was wood, and he painted it silver and then put red on the tip like blood. And I was a pirate, man. That was really cool. I was probably 7 years old. Anyway, so we we were like, make it yourself is more important than what you paid for it, even if it was free. But anyway, so pricing is a complex art, and this is what capitalism gives you. Capitalism gives you opportunity to try stuff. It's not government pricing. A big factor, a big component of Soviet espionage in the 60s was to come to America and figure out what we were charging for toothpaste and then charge that. But a lot of times, because there wasn't really a lot of incentive to be productive, their toothpaste cost more. And so it was just a losing battle. But they would spy on us because they couldn't figure out pricing or pricing theory or the craziness of pricing. That's the fun of capitalism. Don't ever reject it. Don't ever think that capitalism doesn't pull more people out of poverty. Did you know that since the year 2000, the UN had a goal of cutting poverty in half? And they set a poverty level of, I don't remember, the number of people living on $1 a day or less. And it is literally, by 2015, I think, it literally got cut in half. And that's a lot because of opportunity zones. It's a lot because of governments realizing that when you give people the opportunity to have their own business, it ignites everything in a positive way. So pricing is a miracle. The miracle of capitalism. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. I'm John Miglosh. Bye-bye.